They are just about everyone's pick to win the conference, a team that made the second round of the NCAA tourney last year despite being riddled by injuries. Miles Bridges, the freshman of the year, turned down the NBA to return. They had arguably the league's best freshman, and, oh, by the way, they have a Hall of Fame coach to boot. And we are joined by that Hall of Fame coach, Tom Izzo, along with Miles Bridges and Tum Nairn. Great to have you guys with us. You never duck expectations. So I'm just going to put it right out there. Is this team as good as people think it is?
Well, I think they are on paper. You know, we've got to see if they are on the court, but they are on paper, and I think they know it. I think they kind of relish the opportunity to try to prove everybody right instead of the other way where you're trying to prove people wrong. Expectations are what we believe in at Michigan State, and I think they came here because of that, so now we get a chance to live it.
You've had it both ways. What are the particular challenges of being the favorite? I mean, you're never, picked at the bottom, but sometimes people say, they're going to have to sneak in, and sometimes it's while they're really loaded.
Well, I think the two guys that are next to me are the biggest thing I got going for me, because if humility and humbleness is usually what affects teams that are picked high. We start reading our press clippings. Do you think you're better than you are? These two guys here are about the most humble guys that I've ever coached. So when you're a very good player and you get that humility, I think that makes it where you got a better chance to withstand that test on a year-in, year-out basis.
So you guys are the overwhelming favorites. What's that like? I mean, it's different than last year, Miles. So how have you kind of internalized that as a team?
We just tried to embrace that, not pay attention to the pressure, because if we pay attention to that, then they'll make us play different. We just try to stay level-headed, and I depend on him for his leadership skills.
Yeah, Tom, everyone talks about you as being kind of the heart and soul of this team and the best leader that you guys have. That's a lot of responsibility on a team that's picked this high. What has your style been with this group as a leader?
Well, just understanding that, win today. And win today, I mean just embracing the moment of today. Every practice, every weight session, you want to give it 100% maximum effort. And, all the expectations, you can't play for a national championship next week. You can't do it a month from now. But what you can do is work hard every day in practice to get to that level. And I think that's what we've been doing a great job of so far.
That's a pretty good leader right there.
That's better said than by the coach. I promise you that.
I'm sure you heard a little bit of that from the front of the room, too. But, no, that's impressive stuff. Let me ask you this, Miles. Everyone wants to know. I'm sure you've talked about it a ton. But ultimately, what swayed your decision? What made you say, I'm going to turn down the NBA. That can wait. I'm coming back for another shot at this.
Yeah, I mean, I just love college. I love my teammates. And I think our expectations is really high this year, but I think we could accomplish those expectations. I don't really pay attention to materialistic things, you know what I'm saying? I just want to live my life in college, spend time with my teammates and people that I love.
He forgot to tell you, and then I got on my hands and knees and begged him.
What was your reaction, Tom, when Miles told you, hey, I'm coming back?
Oh, well, I knew for a really, really long time. And I just told him, I said,
how long?
A long time.
When did you decide, Miles?
Long time.
I actually told him around like January, February.
Right. Well, because you and I
talked to tell me.
Well, no, but you and I talked in February, and you said, it wouldn't shock me were he to come back.
Well, it wouldn't shock me, but I was shocked still when he did it. But, I mean, what's cool is that he let his friends and his teammates know,
Right.
Now, holding the coach off like that's going to cost him a few wind sprints tomorrow. but I think that's pretty cool that he did it that way. That's why I say he's special.
Do you know how much sleep you cost him by not telling him a little earlier?
Yeah,
it's worth it.
So, but you were saying, Tom, so you knew for a while.
Yeah, I knew.
How do you keep that under your hat?
I just told Miles, I said, Miles, look, you're going to do something special by staying. You're going to allow other kids that have a chance to go to the NBA their first year to want to open up and come back because of what you did. And I told him, a lot of people just see Miles on TV, but the kid is unbelievable heart, unbelievable human being. And I'm glad he was able to open that doors for other people, and he's happy with his decision.
We were talking about the issues last year and the injuries. It was as bad as virtually any team in the league, I would say. What does it mean to have Carter for the first time, to have Gavin Schilling back, and give us a sense for the front line?
Well, the front line is big, with Carter back and a little better player than I even thought he was going to be. And if you ask me, Schilling is the best ball screen defender in the whole country. So that gives us some opportunities there. Nick Ward has improved his body and his stamina. He's gotten to be a better player. And, then, of course, Jaren Jackson. But Kenny Goins has done a pretty good job, too, along with Xavier Tillman, another freshman. But Kenny and Matt McQuaid were two guys that were injured, missed the entire 7 months of the spring, summer, and fall. And those two guys have played pretty well, haven't they, lately? I think they're going to be a big help.
You mentioned Jaren Jackson. Everyone's excited to see him. So I'll go from last year's Freshman of the Year, talking about the guy who was picked to be this year's Freshman of the Year. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, he's a great player, but he's an even better kid. He loves to learn. And just like Coach said, learn to listen to learn. And that's what he came in doing, and he has a winning mentality.
How about the skill set for him, Tom? What stands out?
Unbelievable, man. He could really shoot it, stretch the floor out for you. He can put it on the floor too. But and he's a good passer. He's a good passer, so I'm excited for him.
Miles aside, you had a really good freshman class last year. In addition to him, where have those guys taken the biggest steps?
Well, I think Cassius Winston maybe has taken his biggest step. And Josh, I'd say Josh Langford and Cassius Winston. Cassius got himself in the best shape of his life. He's gotten stronger. He's played against him all summer, which is a plus, and sometimes him one-on-one. And Cassius might have the best vision of any guard that I've ever coached as far as seeing the floor and making assists. And Josh Langford, those guys live together, and they're just like pushing each other in the gym every day. He, too, has probably improved his conditioning as much as he runs the court now like a deer and has really got a great mid-range game along with a three-point. So I think the good part is, there are a lot of accolades given at the end of the year and a lot of pressure on what it's going to be like, but it didn't change their work ethic of the spring, summer, and fall. In fact, I think it increased it, and that's what great teams have to do.
Tom, before I let you go, I know you lost your mentor this offseason in Judd Heathcote. I know how much he meant to you, and our condolences, obviously. What's the biggest thing you learned from Judd that you still apply to coaching this team?
Well, Judd believed in every day having a good practice, but what I learned from Judd that I try to share with these guys deals with you. And it was
Dave Revson. You learned something about Dave
the media.
Revson? Okay.
How to deal with the media and how to deal with people.
Right.
And he always told me everybody's got a boss and everybody's got a job to do. And so treat people the way you want to be treated. These two guys, they're the best at it, And so maybe they're carrying on the Judd Heathcote line of treat people like they deserve to be, work as hard as you can work. I can't think, we're wearing a Judd patch this year. I can't think of anybody that we've had here that he'd be prouder of than these two guys and our entire team. So it's going to be a good year to wear the patch. I'll always have the Juddisms. I'll appreciate them. I won't be able to call them. I'll just have to look up now.
Well, in all seriousness, Coach, you have done a great job of treating us well. We appreciate your partnership here at BTN. So I know Judd taught you a lot of things, but he taught you that one really well. And we're very appreciative.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys. Miles, Tom, really good to see you guys. Have a great season.